This is Rick Rule for the Vancouver Natural Resources Investment Symposium, the virtual edition 2021. I'm delighted today to welcome a man who, despite his young age, is an old friend, both of the conference and also of shareholders going back a long time, Mr. Ivan Bebek, today representing Tier 1 Silver. Ivan, I'd like to begin, of course, by thanking you for your efforts on behalf of natural resource investors over a decade and a half, but also your continued sponsorship and support of the Vancouver Natural Resources Investment Symposium.
Well, thank you, Rick. It's great to be here.
I think I'd like to begin by saying that Tier 1 is certainly not, despite your young age, your first rodeo. You have been involved in, if my memory serves me well, at least two prior exploration successes with successful efforts. If you could describe briefly that track record, the track record that you and your team have amassed, before we talk about what you hope to do for us this year.
Sure, Rick. Great to be here, and I'll keep it quite simple. We started a company, myself and Sean Wallace, my partner, back in 2005. We came from two different mining camps, and we learned what it was like to go find things, or how to go find things and monetize them. We thought we could do it ourselves, and we set the bar pretty high to go find 5 million ounces of gold. And we did that in Ghana in a company called Keegan Resources. From there, we went on, and the company was successful, went from 50 cents to $9 a share. We did not sell that company, but we ended up building a mine, which is another great achievement to have out there in this business. Beyond that, we went and took that success, we poured it in to try it and do it again in a company called Caden Resources. Caden, we started in about 3.5 years after we started. We sold it to Agnico Eagle in 2014 in the middle of the bear market. So we had two successes. This time it worked better because we were actually able to sell the company, but we had not found the 5 million ounce deposit. We found what looked like could be 5 million ounces of a deposit, and shareholders enjoyed the returns from 67 cents to about $3.50 per share before Agnico doubled after they bought us in their shares. So those two things got us hungry, Rick, and they got us looking bigger and looking better, and beefing up our team technically, which is very important, and going after world-class discoveries.
Let's talk about that team. Let's talk about your ability to attract technical talent and intellectual talent, which is obviously the key to making exploration success. Tell us something about the team before we move on to the properties.
Sure. So, started this career under a brilliant geologist, Roman Shkalenka, and learned that the science is the biggest risk that we all take and face. Sean came from Hunter Dickinson. Halfway through an incredible ride at Keegan, finding that 5 million ounces, Dan McCoy, our chief geologist, he went out there and he recruited some guys from Newmont. These guys were called gold ninjas while they were at Newmont. They happened to be the global structural geologist and the global mapper. And in the spirit of going on the ultimate treasure hunt to find things and to mitigate the risk and go for bigger prizes, we met these two geologists. We got to hear the way a major mining company thinks. We got to carry the credibility and the quality of work that a major mining company does. And that's who we aligned ourselves with. What they did, being really smart geologists, that their own expertise, they got 4 or 5 other world experts, formerly with Newmont, to give them the other avenues of expertise. There's no one geologist that can do it all. There's usually a special, focus they have, either mapping or structural or geochemistry. Well, these guys were smart enough to realize that there's smarter people that know more about different parts of these gold systems or copper systems we're going for. And that's our team, former Newmont experts, all with different backgrounds, all specialists in what they do. And they come together and they give us, the answer that's worth financing and worth drilling.
So, Sean, you've given us two prior successes. Let's talk about your next effort now, Tier 1 Silver. It's important, I think, to explain the name. To me, a Tier 1 asset is an asset with $10 billion in situ recoverable reserves and resources, and an asset that will be in the best quartile worldwide in terms of return on capital employed, and the lowest quartile worldwide in terms of all-in sustaining costs. A pretty tall order. Tell us the nature of the opportunity that you see in front of us in Tier 1 and why you believe that Tier 1 is aptly named.
Well, so Tier 1 was the goal, and we started off on one of the most prolific belts in the world in Peru that hosts mines such as Tocopala, Quellaveco, Cerro Verde. These are some of the world's biggest copper gold or copper porphyry mines in the world. And so we got the right address, and we wanted to go make a tier one discovery, because finding that $10 billion of in situ value is where the share price performs best in anything on the mining or exploration side. And we got onto a project called Curry Baya about 4.5 years ago. This project was a concept on this belt next to some of the world's biggest mines, and we quickly started to realize there was a lot more here than concept. We had to, play the chess game to get two other pieces of our property. One was held by Teck, one was held by a Peruvian junior. Thankfully, they consolidated. The Peruvian junior had gone bankrupt, became a hearing aid company, and we came in to buy it for pennies on the dollar amidst the bear markets. And it's one thing to find these deposits, but getting the real estate, is always a story behind it. And there you have it, right? And so we started sampling, and we've been very selective going after the veins, but we've sampled about 1,500 veins so far. And a lot of them are running, over 0.5 kilo up to 300 kilo silver, and from 2 grams up to 934 gram gold, which is basically a big jewelry box of gold and silver, sitting on top of this massive target, which is defined by what we call geophysics, right? So getting into this target, right on the belt, the right address, it got exciting very quickly. And then we, did the most important thing that people don't think about. We went and tested the age of these rocks. Are they the same age as the mines next door? Proximity is one thing, being on the mining trend is one thing, but being in the same time frame, which happens to be around 59 million years ago, of when these major deposits occurred, was paramount in believing that this jewelry box could really deliver a world-class exploration opportunity. So that's the first asset. That's where we're drilling now, and that's an exciting project for us that is going to give us a chance. Every month we're going to have a chance at making that big discovery there. But knowing there's risk, Rick, we acquired 3 other projects in Peru, all with a similar concept that I explained of how Curry Baya came together. Huge potential next to some of the world's largest mines in very prolific regions. And these are quietly being brought into a pipeline that will be there as a backup plan in case we don't make the big discovery, and or a double or a triple or a third type of reward that we could make, in the event that all of them are successful. We went hunting on the back of the success we had in 2014 in the middle of the bear market. We went hunting to find some of the best real estate we could find, both scientifically as well as country-wise, for major discoveries or a potential endowment that would make those tier one discoveries. And that's how we've shaped this company. So intelligent by scale, we're going after that because we have the team to do it. We have the capital to do it, but we're also hedging our bets to make sure that we're not a one-hit wonder in case we don't get it right on this first program we're drilling now.
Tell us something about the corporate genesis of Tier 1, which was interesting, how it came to be, how it's financed, something, if you can, about the corporate and share structure that you've put in place to access this opportunity.
Sure. So we had a company after Caden, our last success. It was called Orin Resources. Many know this company because it was leading the world globally, top 5 explorers. We raised and spent over $100 million trying to go find a 10, 20, 30 million ounce gold deposit. We started in Canada. We mitigated our seasonality with projects in Peru, and so that we could drill year round. And we found ourselves full of gold, silver, and copper opportunities. So we split Orin into 3 entities: Fury Gold Mines, which is trading on the Toronto New York Stock Exchange, Tier 1 Silver, and Sombrero Resources, which will trade later this year. We did this, Rick, because each company had its own flagship. It had its own slew of assets that could really deliver that. And there were different commodities in one company, which, as you know, it's really tough to get paid as an explorer for multiple different commodities in one. So we spun it out in October 9th of 2020. We raised money at $1 Canadian per share, $110 million market cap when we did that financing. And right now we have 125 million shares out. Now, that may sound like a lot of shares to some and may not sound like many to others, but it's our shareholder base that really gives us the power in our share price. We have some of the best mining entrepreneurs and financiers who make up the bulk of our shareholdings, and people that have followed us through our Keegan Caden successes. So we have 125 million of some of the best shareholders in the world for exploration. Companies well funded. We have a tremendous amount of access to capital at any given time. And we tend to carry a premium, Rick, whenever we create these companies. And what you pay for, what you get with the premium, is you get that world-class swing. You get that shot at finding a tier one discovery. You get the work being done by former Newmont global experts that have found a lot of ounces before. You also get a relentless financing team and marketing team that's going to make sure this is monetized at the end of time, should we get it right. And a team that's capable to go and sell the company, potentially at a great price, should we get the discovery right.
So let's talk now about how you can deliver value for shareholders in the next 12 months. What is it precisely that you're planning to do? How much money will it take, and how much money do you have?
Okay, so it's going to be drilling, and a lot of drilling. And we're drilling our first project right now. We have about $12 million in the treasury, and we're going to continue drilling through this project through the end of the year. And in the meantime, the other 3 world-class opportunities that we're bringing to the drill-ready stage, they'll be in a pipeline to be drilled either consecutive or concurrently, or they'll be drilled, next. And if this one doesn't deliver, so we're just going to be a drilling company with some of the best targets to go drill in Peru, which we like a lot because of the endowment down there and the kind of things that can be found.
And just so everybody understands, your real focus here, despite the fact that this was historically a copper belt, is silver. And tell people again how you've ground truthed, how you've developed this target, and why at this stage you think it has the potential to be a tier one deposit. In other words, everybody says they're going to drill. Why are you going to drill? What was the origin of the thesis?
So origin of the thesis was copper belt, big porphyries around. We surprisingly found incredibly high grade silver and gold, but predominantly silver numbers over a 2 square kilometer area, which is getting larger. We're finding more. And these all honed in on a genesis target of right underneath them, like a bullseye. And basically what it is, we look at it as like a tree by analogy. The leaves of the tree are on surface. These are the ridiculously high grade veins all emanating from one area. And that would be the leaves going into the branches, which we'll call feeder structures, going into a trunk, which could be the full bullseye of where this whole thing emanated from. The mineralization on surface has a signal that goes down to plus a kilometer, but for the precious metal portion of the target, goes down 700 meters from surface, which is absolutely huge. So why is this different? Why is it a different project on a copper belt? You're seeing silver. If you look at Tocopala, which is only 42 kilometers away, it's actually a copper silver porphyry with silver in it and a bit of gold in it, which is not too dissimilar to what we're seeing here. We think we're higher in the system. We think we're above the potential porphyry, and we think that we did not see the erosion that occurred at Tocopala higher up in the belt. And so that's the opportunity here. Sorry for the home Zoom call. You're going to get a bit of that. Yep. Anyway, the opportunity was one that was significant because we are finding potentially both the precious metal system, a silver gold system, on top of a potential world-class porphyry on a world-class porphyry belt, which is really the home run. That's called a telescoping deposit. You recently saw this in Filo mining. I'm not here to say we're going to go drill the same hole they drilled, but their system went from precious metals into base metals, and that's really what we think we have here, that kind of opportunity.
So let's summarize this. We have a young, aggressive team that's been right twice before, that's managed to hire a world-class team of geoscientists and assemble a target that has the potential to become literally a tier one deposit. We have the ability and the cash and the ability to raise cash to test the thesis, and we have the ability to do that within 12 months. I think that's an accurate summary. Assuming that our attendees would like to hear more about this opportunity, how is it that they can learn more about Filo? Let's try that again. How is it that people can learn more about Tier 1? And how do they reach you to discuss the opportunity?
Come visit us at tier1silver.com, TIERSILVER resources.com, tier1silverresources.com, and visit our website, join our mailing list, contact us through the website, and we will answer any questions and give you a lot more information about why we're doing what we're doing and why we're so confident that this opportunity could really deliver for us.
And two, drop into the Tier 1 Silver booth at the finest natural resources investment symposium on the planet. Ivan, thank you so much for your efforts on our behalf over 15 years and for your continued sponsorship and support of the Vancouver Natural Resources Investment Symposium.
Thank you so much for having me, Rick. Looking forward to everything that's coming up for us and for the market in the next few months.